Hello, and welcome to the Adoptions Overview for Bloomington Animal Care and Control. This presentation provides information on our adoption programs and policies. BACC follows the Adopters Welcome philosophy created by the Humane World for Animals. In alignment with these tenets and our focus on placing all healthy adoptable animals, we have eliminated many barriers to adoption that were commonplace just a handful of years ago. We do not have an application fee, any requirements for yard or home ownership that references landlord checks or preferential adoptions. This allows anyone that is able to provide an animal a safe, loving home to do so. Many times, this process brings up questions such as, what if an adopter has never owned a pet before? What if they rent or live in a small home? Or what if their current pets aren't up to date on vaccines? That is okay. This is where the role of our adoption counselors comes into play. We are a resource for potential adopters and can help educate and advise on how to make a good match. Our role is not to determine worthiness of adopters, but rather to build relationships and provide resources for our community. Even if an adopter appears imperfect to us, most adopters can provide far more for an animal than we can in the shelter environment. Our goal is to help adopters make the best decision for them and the animal, and to see us as a resource in the future and as they go through the adoption process. General adoption fees are as follows. Dogs are $100, cats are $90, and rabbits are $60. We do sometimes get other species, such as hamsters, birds, and rats. A full list of our adoption fees for the less common species is available on our website and in our lobby. Our adoption fees include spay-neuter surgery for dogs, cats, and rabbits. For dogs and cats, it also includes age-appropriate heartworm testing or FELV-FIV testing respectively, at least the first round of age-appropriate vaccinations, and a temporary leash for dogs or carrier for cats. We have a number of special program fees that aim to reduce barriers even further to help animals that may be seen as less adoptable. This includes waiving fees for all dogs and cats over the age of 10, for FELV and FI positive cats, for Catitude and Working Cat program cats, and for Sit, Stay, Adopt program dogs. We also reduce the fees for bully mixes and extra large dogs available over 2 weeks, and for seniors adopting senior animals. Cats are always 2 for 1, and bonded pairs of animals are also 2 for 1. Moving on to our adoption programs, we offer quite a range of services to help animals leave the shelter and get into adopted homes as quickly as possible. We have several different foster to adopt programs. First, there are medical fosters. Any animal that is on medication that cannot be discontinued, such as an antibiotic, fluoxetine, etc., can be sent home in a foster to adopt. This allows us to send medication home with the adopters. The adoption will be finalized on our end after the medications finish, unless for some reason the animal is not yet well and the adopter contacts us prior to that date. Because we have a limited number of spay-neuter slots available each week, sometimes it will be several weeks before an otherwise adoptable animal is able to be altered. Because of this, we can offer spay-neuter foster to adopt. If the animal's spay-neuter date is more than 3 days away, we can send the animal home prior to this date. If it is scheduled within the next 3 days, we would keep the animal here until they get altered. Finally, we have our Foster First program. This allows adopters a 7 to 10 day trial period to foster the pet before finalizing. The remainder of the counseling and adoption process is the same, with the addition of a brief video and foster handbook for them to sign. We also have a program called Sit, Stay, Adopt, which is coordinated by our Outreach and Behavior Coordinator, Emily Herr. This program is aimed at dogs that may experience more behavioral barriers as they look for their adoptive homes and adjust to a new environment. In most cases, visits and adoption counseling will be done by Emily or another staff member if approved. She can then provide additional support throughout and after the adoption process. For our cats that are either feral or semi-feral, or who may have additional needs, we have our Working Cat and Catitude programs. Working cats are our feral or semi-feral cats that would do best in a barn, workshop, or similar environment where they do not have to live indoors with a family, but can perform work such as mousing. They will be altered and rabies vaccinated prior to adoption. We recommend to adopters that these cats be housed in the indoor space inside of a large dog crate with their supplies for 3 to 4 weeks upon arrival prior to beginning their work outdoors. Catitude cats are our less social or behavioral cats that may be a little bit spicy or need more experienced owners than the average cat. These cats are fee-waived and selected by our ACTs and shelter manager. We are fortunate to have a large foster program that takes on many of our animals as they wait to be adopted. Fosters can care for animals for a short period or for as long as it takes for them to get adopted. If an applicant is interested in an animal in foster care, we can welcome them to look at the animals present in the shelter, but if the foster animal is their main interest, we should collect an application and the front desk will do the initial administrative checks and then connect them with the foster to discuss further and set up a meeting. Many fosters will schedule their meetings at the shelter, though some prefer to do meetings at their home or in a public space. Our final program is our Cat Cafe partnership with B-Town Meow. We send eligible cats, healthy, cat social, rabies vaccinated, and spayed or neutered, to the cafe, and usually there are anywhere from 10 to 15 cats there. Visitors can meet the cats during their open hours. If they find a cat they would like to adopt, they fill out an application and the cafe owner sends it to the shelter for administrative checks. After that, she will complete adoption counseling and send the cat home from the cafe. In regards to our adoption process, we generally advise that it will take about an hour from start to finish, though this depends quite a bit on the visitor, the animal, and how busy the day is. When visitors arrive, staff and volunteers can direct them to the correct area of the shelter, dogs, cats, or rabbits. Visitors can go into the cat rooms freely, but should wash and sanitize their hands in between spaces. For dogs, visitors may walk through the adoptable dog room and should let staff or a canine steward know if there is someone they would like to take outside to a yard. For our adult dogs, we provide a 5-minute decompression period to go to the bathroom prior to bringing the dog to a visit space with a visitor. Once the visitor finds the right match, they should fill out an application. Pink is cats, blue is dogs, and white is all other species. We should make sure that there are 2 phone numbers and an email address provided so that we can successfully complete the microchip registration. When an application is taken, the animal's name is added to our whiteboard in the adoption lobby. The whiteboard will let you know if an animal has any current applications and if there is a day that they are supposed to be finalized. We can take multiple applications for an animal and will go in the order they are received. Adopters will be contacted either way. APP stands for approved, PEND stands for pending, and X2 means there are 2 applications. Once an application is filled out, it will be placed in line for administrative checks. This means looking at the adopter's activity file to see if they have any history with us, such as fostering, adopting, or any animal control related incidents. The front desk will also put any notes about the animal's behavior, such as no dogs, kids, cats, etc., any medical notes, such as being unaltered or on medication, and anything that we have about why the animal came into our care. Also print out a medical history for the animal to be used during adoption counseling. Medical histories will include spay-neuter dates, microchip numbers, vaccines, preventatives, and any medications or treatments that we have done while the animal has been in our care. Once these checks are complete, we can begin adoption counseling. Generally, we begin counseling with the basic information that we have for all animals. This includes intake reasons such as owner relinquish or stray, any major medical or behavioral history, shelter medical history including vaccines, dewormers, and preventatives, and microchip information. Beyond this, our counselors will tailor the information provided to the adopter based upon their experience and the needs of the animal they have chosen. If all goes well, the animal will be approved for adoption, and we will have the adopter sign an adoption contract and pay the adoption fee if applicable. After adoption, we do have a follow-up program to target our higher needs population. If an animal is in one or more of our shelter programs, the Behavior Enrichment Program, Staff Adoption Counseling and Visits, or Club Underdog, or for dogs aged 6 months to 2 years, our adoption coordinator will email them a follow-up at 3 weeks and 3 months post-adoption to check in. We also offer the opportunity for staff and volunteers to request animals be added to the follow-up list if they have concerns after counseling. Animals in the Sit, Stay, Adopt program receive follow-ups from Emily Herr, and many fosters will provide their contact information to the people who adopt their foster animals. Finally, returns are a part of any adoption program. Sometimes an animal just isn't a good fit, and sometimes an adopter's circumstances change unexpectedly. We accept our animals back into our care if an adoption doesn't work out for any reason. If it is soon after adoption, generally within 3 months, we can get the adopter onto our schedule fairly quickly. If it is further out than that, it may take more time to get them set up to surrender based on our space and the urgency of the situation. We would like to get as much information as possible when an animal is returned so that we can set them up for success in their next home. Thank you for taking the time to learn about our adoption programs.